All right. Have you ever been discriminated against for an unusual reason at work? A survey suggests that 1 in 5 people have, and some of the reasons for discrimination include having a different accent, having the wrong hobby, supporting the wrong footy team. As I mentioned earlier, years ago when I worked in Canada, I had a job, but some of my workmates said that they couldn't understand me because they weren't really used to Australian accents. And I lost a job that I'd been offered because I admitted I didn't play golf. And our guest is a human resources expert, Jonathon Woolfrey. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom. Good to join you.
Well, I mean, accents is a big one because obviously if someone has, I don't know, a Chinese accent or Indian accent to the English, are you saying that they might not get considered for a job?
Definitely, that does happen. Now, it shouldn't happen in most situations, but yeah, I think we would be living under a rock if we don't think it happens. What I think does happen sometimes is people might not use that as the official reason why they may look someone over, but yeah, it definitely happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think, for some jobs, your spoken English is important, but for a lot of jobs, as long as you can be understood, that's all that's really necessary, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We do underpick. I think in a very small very small percentage of circumstances, there are things where, you do need to have better than average spoken language. But in most situations, our multicultural society, people are used to hearing different accents and different accentuations on the English language. So it's fine.
Do English or American accents result in discrimination?
I don't have the data down to that level of detail, but I think they do. Like all these biases you mentioned in their footy teams and things like that, all of these things do make a difference in regards to decision making. So I think, they do, maybe not as much as non-English speaking backgrounds, but yeah, and your experience in Canada as well. Yeah. For sure.
Well, now what about, you turn up and you've got tattoos all over your face and you're wearing a Collingwood Football Club jumper. If you get discriminated against then, is that okay or not?
Well, it's an interesting one. In some respects, there are certain grounds that you're not allowed to be discriminated against. They're more on race, family responsibilities, gender identity, and things like that. Things that are actually not protected classes. There is a reasonable level of ability for an employer to discriminate against those things. You're not legally protected for being a Collingwood supporter. Now, it may not be a good decision, and there may be some other unfairness to it, but you're not as protected as you otherwise would be in those situations, no.
Right. As I said, this is a real-life thing. In fact, it formed the chapter of a book called Triumph of the Airheads. But 22 or 23 years ago, I was offered a job. It was a job at a well-known financial institution. I had said yes. They took me out for dinner. We hadn't signed the contract, but we had a verbal agreement. They took me out for dinner, and when it got to when they suddenly discovered I didn't play golf and didn't want to play golf, they withdrew the offer.
Yeah, look, from a technical perspective, a verbal offer still is something that can be enforced, but I think time's moved on from that one. Look, and similarly, I think we're hoping that employers make better decisions about these things now based on what we would say are the inherent requirements of the role, and we've moved a long way forward. But I still think we've got a way to go because these things do happen. I think a little bit, they're more underground. I think they're more unspoken reasons for decisions, and I do sometimes hear the inner sanctum of these.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. I mean, unconsciously someone might say, Harbinder sounds too Indian, we don't want him. But they won't say that. They'll say, he wasn't qualified enough or something like that. Jonathon Woolfrey, human resources expert.